next speaker is somebody that has been in the industry for a very long time. She's been working with Salesforce, building community from the ground up there for over 10 years, I believe. 10 years? Yeah, 10 years. She's one of the people that has been working really hard to kind of shape a lot of this industry. She's really been an example that I reference all the time in how to think about community, how to think about community strategy, how to think about ROI. She's just been around the block a few times and is setting the path. What I said about like all of us are figuring out the path to that top, she's someone who's really been paving a lot of it for me, and I know for a lot of people in the CMX community. So we're really grateful that she exists. We're really grateful that she's here. And she's going to talk a little bit about the cultural side of how Salesforce is shifting their culture and the impact that they're having as a result of being a very community-driven organization. So get ready to stand up again and give a very big CMX welcome to Erica Kuhl.
Get old. It's awesome. I hope you all get that opportunity once. I'll give you a standing ovation later. So thank you for having me. As David said, I'm not going to do my traditional community talk this time, but I will and am happy to talk about traditional community stuff with all of you later. I'm going to talk about a shift and a change that's happening at our company and a movement that is really happening. And I have this fun title, Shift Happens. And I think that this is a lot of fun because I'm excited to talk to you about this, and our community is really at the forefront of this. So what is it? So this shift that's happening is about, in easy terms, tons and tons of jobs that are happening at Salesforce and not enough skilled up workers to fill them. And so this is becoming an amazing movement that's happening in our industry. We set out to build good software at Salesforce, and we did that a long time ago. We tried to do that, and we're doing a pretty darn good job of that. I don't think we knew that this was going to happen. I don't think that we knew that there was going to be this massive economy that was going to rise up alongside. And what was even cooler is that our community is sitting right at the forefront of that, and they knew this was coming, and they set the path of this was coming. So IDC did a study. This is not us. We didn't put this together. And I want to highlight just a few things to help you understand what this means for Salesforce. I'm going to start here. What we're seeing is that the number of jobs that are happening is impacting over $400 billion in GDP by 2020. We're seeing that over 1.9, IDC says that as of 2020, 1.9 million Salesforce jobs are going to be in existence. And if you type in a search right now, you'll find that there's over 300,000 job descriptions that have Salesforce in them. And we do not have enough workforce to fill these jobs. And what we're also seeing is that these jobs are not just any old jobs. These are high-paying strategic jobs. And they are two of the top-paying jobs right now out there in the market are Salesforce developers and Salesforce admins. And so what does this have to do with community, though? That's great and all. Well, our CEO, Marc Benioff, had the opportunity to talk to Trump about this, which is pretty cool. He went and said, I want you to take a moonshot goal, and I want you to create 5 million apprenticeships to help fuel this. And he actually got some interesting responses, as I'm sure you would imagine, from him about this. But this is so exciting because why I think that this is important to all of you, and certainly important to me, is that what our CEO, Marc Benioff, has realized is that in order to power this, you need community. We need our trailblazers, which are our community members. They are the ones that are at the forefront of all of this innovation, and we need them to rally around and help not only change their lives using Salesforce, but also help inspire and change other lives. And so this is something that he gets now. Our community is at the center. And as I'm sure you guys realize, and the ones that are building community, they're the ones that always have the best ideas first. So they were doing this and they knew the shift was happening before we even caught up. So they're inspiring and they're using Salesforce to change their lives. And here I thought we just worked at a great company that was philanthropic in nature. We have this amazing 1-1-1 model where 1% of our equity, 1% of our product, and 1% of our employees' time goes to nonprofits and helping that. We thought that was inspiring, and that still is inspiring, but our community is actually getting inspired by Salesforce itself and the changes that it can predict and a new path that it's setting as a course of action, a very predicted path. But I think it's important for you to hear from some of our community members. They're not here with me today, but we have this amazing video because they say it best as always. They represent this. They were living and breathing this shift and this change before we caught up to them. So I'm going to show you a quick video that demonstrates the power of community at Salesforce and how this movement that they have is changing lives.
It's incredible. There's kind of an army of us now.
The magic is the community.
That's what just brings everything together.
It helps you kind of connect with other people who believe in doing good, believe in helping others, and who believe in helping customers on their one-to-one journey.
It's an awesome product that lets you do awesome things, and you're surrounded by awesome people.
So that's motivation, right?
It'll really make a difference for the people that are coming behind you and your customers as well.
When I build something and it works, it is one of the best feelings.
They saw it and went, oh, it's so much easier. You just saved me 2 hours today.
We want to help people connect to their customers in a whole new way.
This is an awesome time to be a developer.
There's so much work for everyone.
Every day I get either an email or a call.
I've been approached by people on LinkedIn.
There was a little bit of a bidding war last time around, and that was an amazing feeling.
What we are delivering is really this success.
I get up and I know that I'm making a difference every day, and that drives the movement.
Oh, I want to be a developer. Yeah, I want to be a developer.
To be able to make a great living doing something fun, being part of a great community is incredible.
That's amazing stuff. Who wouldn't show up with a smile on their face to a job like that?
I never thought I would be where I am right now.
Don't limit yourself, because with Salesforce, you can really take it wherever you want to go.
It's something that really gets me passionate. It feels right.
We get to blaze new trails.
I love what I do. Yeah, I love what I do.
Okay, so we didn't pay any of those people. We didn't have to work very hard to get them to come say those things because they truly believe it. They feel, and you can hear that this is just software. This is Salesforce, but yet it means something more to them because they have been able to blaze their own new trails and been able to surround themselves by this ecosystem. And so we think that what they told us that we didn't even know yet is that putting together these components is a magic formula for learning. They didn't know that these were the words they were using, but they were putting together something called Learn, Earn, and Connect. They were saying, it's very easy. You've made it very easy to learn Salesforce. You are letting us earn credentials that change our lives and drive our career. And then you're connecting us with this amazing ecosystem. And all three of those together is magic. And so we caught up to them finally, which is great. And we put 3 powerhouse organizations together at Salesforce to do this, to do more of it, to make certain that 1.9 million jobs out of 2020 are going to be filled. So we put together the Trailhead team, which I'm going to talk about in a second, together with Salesforce University, together with our community team. And we all came together as one big family. We're all Team Trailhead now, and our mission is to help this happen. So let me dive into each one of those pieces a little bit more so that they make a little bit of sense to you. And really you can see how this movement is happening. I'm going to talk about each of them, and I'm going to show you some real-world examples about how this is really impacting our community. So Trailhead, who's heard of Trailhead? Anyone heard of Trailhead? Yay. All right. So a couple of you. What Trailhead really is for Salesforce is a fun and easy way to learn Salesforce. And it was started actually not by some muckety-muck that had some crazy vision. It was really created by a developer who had a challenge that he was hard to get diverse people trained with diverse sets of skills at scale. So he put together this platform, which is very, very easy to use, and it's so simple, and it's in simple language, and it's really fun. I mean, I know that sounds weird that it's fun, but it really is fun. And it allowed people to get education on Salesforce no matter who you were. It started for developers, really focusing on code, teaching this massive movement how to code, but it quickly became so viral And so exciting for us, and seeing the opportunities that we open it up to administrators, open it up to end users, and we even open it up massively to our employee population at Salesforce, and now we're some of the biggest monthly active users of Trailhead. Put together simple concepts like ranks and badges, giving people an exciting reason to learn, getting people different options and things to shoot for to get ranks and to build you up, and rewarding and recognizing you for doing that. Linking it directly to the community profile so people can see all of the different things that you're doing. So you can start to see different skill sets and start to see different specializations. And it's crazy addicting. As I put this slide together, and now I have 50 badges and I have moved up ranks because I just felt like I got a little insane and crazy and wanted to do it. So it's really fun and easy. Now, how does this affect our community? What are they doing? So I talked about changing lives. So I picked out 2 people that I want to introduce you to and their stories and what Trailhead did for them, along with the community. It's sort of interchangeable in my mind. First one is Cheryl. Cheryl, back in 2001, was a hairdresser, and she was blowing out people's hair and cutting hair 10 to 12 hours a day. She then tore her rotator cuff, and her doctor basically said, "You can't do this anymore." This was her career. So she felt like, what the heck am I going to do now? I have to reinvent myself. So she took a job as a secretary. And she started doing secretarial stuff, like answering phones and doing to-do lists. But she also started getting into some spreadsheets and doing some data entry. Started getting an idea. That's pretty exciting. Her boss noticed that and said, "Oh, we have this thing called Salesforce. It sounds like you're kind of into databases and stuff. Do you want to help out?" So she dove right in, got into Trailhead, got herself trained. She knew nothing. She started reading, she started meeting people, and all of a sudden, she is skilled up in a way that she can present that. Now, fast forward, she now works at a startup where she's leading an entire Salesforce implementation, which she has the word V&P in her title. So it's amazing to see how this is not ever anyone. She'll be the first one to tell you she never would have thought that she was going to chart this career for herself. And Zach Otero, another one that we love this story. And Zach was a factory worker, like a legitimate factory worker, blue collar, and he was just trying and thinking of ways that he could make life better for his family and himself. So you can't exactly take Trailhead while you're on the factory lines. So he listened to podcasts. He got introduced to his local community through community groups, and he decided that this was the pathway for him. He had heard about this from his brother-in-law. So ironically, the factory shut down, and here he now has a set of skills. He took a gamble, went to a user group, met a couple people, and one of those individuals took a risk and hired him as a junior admin, and now he is the senior admin, and he's running the whole implementation at this company. Again, something he never, ever would have thought. The other really exciting thing for me is always when your CEO also believes this. It's one thing, and for many years, David talked about this, for many years, I was just a single, one-woman shop, just championing community for so long. But to see what's happening now and to see your own CEO getting so excited about this movement that's happening and knowing that we were the ones together as a team that created this movement is pretty awesome. So I'm going to show you one more video about Mark, our CEO, talking to Kramer. He was recently invited. He's always invited by Kramer. He loves him. And he talks about this movement, and he's going to talk about Zach Otero. So I want to show you this video as well.
I read a piece about a fellow, Zach Otero, and this kind of defines...
That's an amazing story.
I want you to tell it, because for every one person who understands what you're about to tell me, there's 5 who say technology just wipes out jobs, so I wish it would just move back and not be so progressive.
Well, this is something that I'm really fixated on, which is we built this incredible new service called Trailhead. You can see it at trailhead.com, and you're interested in a new job, you want to build new skills, you want to have one of the top paying jobs in the country, you go to Trailhead, you get trained on Salesforce. We build a one-on-one relationship with you. We make sure you have those skills. We certify you, badge you, and introduce you to those employers that are using Salesforce. That's very exciting.
Is that scalable? And did you tell the president about that? I know that the president, Gary Cohn, I know for a long time, he's deeply concerned that technology could hurt jobs. Obviously doesn't necessarily think that, but I want to know how commonplace the Zach stories are.
Well, technology is a continuum. It's constantly getting lower cost and easier to use, and you see that. And you know, that's true with our company. We're rolling this product into so many companies, hundreds of thousands of companies all over the world. How do we bring in all the jobs behind it? Salesforce is only successful inside one of our customers if there are Salesforce administrators and Salesforce developers. And of course, there's going to be the Accentures and the Deloittes and the systems integrators. Right. But what you really want is all these great entrepreneurs and developers and people who are looking to move from being a factory worker, like Zach. He was a factory worker.
Right. And no college.
And then he retrained himself using the technology. And I just heard about this great story of a minister in Australia, did the same thing, was tired of being a minister, wanted a different job, trained himself on Trailhead, and is now with one of our customers.
Okay, I'm cutting Mark off because I'm running out of time. But you get the point that this is real. This is a real thing. And the people he's talking about, those are our community. These are the people we've been nurturing for years, and they've been on this journey. Now, the next thing that they put together in this magic formula is credentialing. So Trailhead is amazing. Badging, ranks are great. Sometimes you really need to talk to an instructor. Sometimes you need to take it to another level and actually have that in-person training. And sometimes you need that credential to put on your resume and get that amazing job. Because employers, at least in the Salesforce world, they're looking for those credentials as well, not only just Trailhead badges. And we think that this is something that's super important. Credentialing is about that learning, online learning. It's about that instructor-led training. And so it's really core to who we are, and it's core to who we've always been. And I have a special affinity for this in particular because I started out at Salesforce 15 years ago as an admin workshop instructor. I taught this community how to use Salesforce. And then that is actually how I got my inspiration to create the community in the first place, was to rally around and get these transformationalists all together in one place to share their best practice. So I have a huge excitement, and that we're back together on one team is really exciting to me at Salesforce. So 3 quick stories to just show how credentialing changes things at Salesforce along with the community is a story about Eugenio. He is pretty amazing. There is one credential at Salesforce that is extraordinarily hard to get. There are less than 6,000 of them, and there's more astronauts in the world than people that have this credential at Salesforce, so it's crazy. And he is the first ever one that holds this credential in Spain. And so here's somebody who's blazing literally his own trails in an area of our world that doesn't have as much networked around him. And he's been able to do that by putting together these 3 components. And he actually put it on a slide when we were all coming together as an organization. He put that up on a slide, and it shocked me. He put that his magic formula to getting to be a certified technical architect was to take trails, was to then get certified, and then networked all around him with our community. It was amazing. Next one is Gerbson. He is also pretty amazing. His story is that he's the first certified person in Haiti. He worked at Habitat for Humanity, and he was in IT, but his boss came to him and said, "Do you know what CRM is?" And he said, "No." And he said, "Well, this is going to open up a lot of opportunities. You should really know about this." So of course he went to Trailhead. Of course he studied really hard. He wrapped himself around the community, and he decided to go sit for his first certification. His boss was so excited that he made certain to rent a generator so that in the middle of his certification it wouldn't, go kaput, and he wouldn't get that certification, and then he did. Now he has 4 certifications, and he's rocking and rolling, and he's out in Haiti. So this is opportunity everywhere. And then finally, Sarah's story. I love this story because it does really talk about this movement of community around helping each other move forward. So Sarah was a single mom, and she wanted to change her life as well, make a little bit better life for herself. So she studied very hard for her certification, and unfortunately she didn't pass. And she didn't have the money to pay for another certification. So she thought, I'm done. Well, luckily, community rallied around her. They said, no, you're doing it again. We're gonna have study groups. We're gonna introduce you to people. We're gonna help you get this. And they even set up a GoFundMe page for her, and they funded her certification for her to get certified. This is crazy. This had nothing to do with me. This was all just our community doing this on their own to rally around one another. Well, she got certified, and then she got certified again and again and again, and now she is one of our Salesforce MVPs, which is like cream of the crop of the smartest echelon of Salesforce users and community members, and her dedication is to now give back so that everybody has this opportunity. Okay, and of course the last and final piece has got to be community. So I still run our Salesforce community, even though I'm talking about something different today. It's still nearly almost 3 million members. We have over 215 Salesforce MVPs. We have over 700 user groups all over the globe in 53 countries, all of which I'm happy to talk to you about all of that and how we did that. But what is really amazing is that it's still fundamentally shocking me every day. You'd think that I would have gotten used to this by now, but every day, people in our community are doing things that blow my mind. And these are two people that are doing things that I never could have expected. If you had asked me 10 years ago that I would be talking about these type of stories, I would have laughed. I would have thought that would be the most hilarious thing. So two that were hard for me to pick because I wanted to pick a million was Annie and Scott, and they're kind of related in the stories. So what Annie and her mission is to do is she's dedicated to bringing Salesforce into communities that didn't have opportunities, schools and nonprofits and underserved communities. And so she put together what was a simple concept, which she called Trailhead for All. She's going to basically bring this concept into schools and communities and nonprofits to help them get opportunities that she had that they maybe didn't. She asked the community to step up. You guys create Trailhead for All in your communities and your networks. She launched that challenge, and within a week, she had 45 different community members running Trailhead for Alls in their actual local communities. And Scott is one of them. So Scott picked his specific dedication and function, and that's to support Montrose Grace Place. He wanted to fundraise and raise a ton of money for Montrose Grace Place, which if you don't know what that is, supports LGBTQ homeless youth. So he really wanted to bring the skills, he wanted to bring Salesforce to them. So he fundraised on GoFundMe again and raised a ton of money to buy laptops and then launched Trailhead for All within that community. So it is just amazing to see what's happening, and this really is a fundamental shift for our company. And again, not something that we ever could have thought was in place. And one more thing I'll finish up with is that we ourselves at Salesforce, my team, we want to do our part as well. We are, of course, supporting all of this with everything that we do, but we want to bring this to students. So our latest exciting innovation is bringing the same structure that we brought to our community groups and our user groups, and we're bringing that to schools all over the US at first. It's a pilot program that we're testing out. Since we don't know how the heck we're gonna get 1.9 jobs filled, we wanna go to the students. We want students to run groups within their universities, and we want to skill them up and give them tools and resources so they're differentiated right outside of graduation. Because, I mean, if they're anything like me, I needed everything I could get. I wasn't the greatest student. I needed the leadership opportunity. I needed that final little skill that I could put in my toolkit. And we're finding that that is working really well. So we're hoping to do 10 schools in this year, and then so far it's going amazing, and then we're gonna just blow this out like we did at scale with the rest of our community. So we're really excited that this is the next evolution for us. It gets me so excited. There's nothing more exciting than talking to students to get a little adrenaline hit. And again, our community is clamoring to help out their local schools. So it works together famously when you have an amazing community distributed all over the world, partnering up with all these local schools. All right, told you I was to stick to my time. So really, I hope that you could see that this has been an amazing movement for us. And I feel like, again, if I would have thought back 10 years ago and when I took a risk myself to even start the community in the first place, I always get inspired by this quote that the head of our Trailhead organization, Sarah Franklin, she talks about, it's not about can you change the world, but how will you change the world? So I hope you all do the same in your communities. Thank you so much. Thank you.